Hey, thrill seekers! Welcome to the Enigma Vault, where we dive headfirst into the world's most spine-chilling haunted locations. From ghostly castles to abandoned asylums, we're counting down the top 15 sites that blur the line between the living and the dead. Buckle up and get ready to face the eerie and the unexplained. Things are about to get seriously spooky.
Top 15, the Queen Mary, USA. Starting our list at number 15, we dock at the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. This historic ocean liner, which served as a luxury cruise ship and a troop transport during World War II, now stands as both a hotel and a museum. However, beneath its elegant exterior lies a dark and haunted past. Built in the 1930s, the Queen Mary was once a symbol of opulence and power, but its history is marred by tragedy. During its time at sea, the ship witnessed several deaths, some due to tragic accidents, while others remain unexplained to this day. One of the most infamous incidents occurred during World War II, when the ship accidentally sliced through its escort ship, the HMS Curacoa, leading to the deaths of over 300 men. This tragic event has contributed to the ship's eerie reputation. Today, the Queen Mary is considered one of the most haunted places in the world. Guests and staff alike have reported a wide array of paranormal activity. Some of the most famous hauntings include the Lady in White, who is often seen gliding down the ship's corridors, and the ghost of a young girl who drowned in the ship's pool, her ghostly laughter and wet footprints still being experienced by visitors. Other common reports include hearing the sounds of phantom footsteps, doors slamming on their own, and sudden cold spots that leave even the bravest guests shivering with fear. Room B340 is perhaps the most notorious on the ship. This cabin has such a dark history of paranormal events that it was closed to the public for many years. Guests staying in the room have reported seeing the bed covers being yanked off in the middle of the night, faucets turning on by themselves, and even the apparition of a man standing at the foot of the bed. The activity in this room was so intense that it became the subject of numerous paranormal investigations. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's no denying that the Queen Mary has an atmosphere that feels heavy with history and perhaps something more. For those daring enough to stay the night, the ship offers ghost tours and paranormal investigations, allowing you to experience the haunting for yourself. But beware, many who visit leave with more questions than answers and a chilling sense that they were not alone. Top 14 Eastern State Penitentiary, USA. At number 14, we explore the Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia. Opened in 1829, this now abandoned prison was the first to introduce solitary confinement as a form of rehabilitation, a practice that led many inmates to madness. The architecture itself was designed to inspire fear, with its castle-like appearance and long, echoing corridors. Inmates were kept in small, dark cells, with only a small slit in the ceiling, known as the Eye of God, to provide light. Some of the most notorious criminals in American history, including Al Capone, were incarcerated here. Capone himself reported being haunted by the ghost of James Clark, a victim of the St. Valentine's Day massacre, while serving his sentence. Today, visitors and paranormal investigators report ghostly apparitions, shadowy figures that dart through the halls, chilling whispers, and blood-curdling screams that seem to come from the walls themselves. The site is so notorious that it has been featured on numerous paranormal television shows, solidifying its reputation as one of the most haunted places in the world. Top 13 Highgate Cemetery, UK. Number 13 brings us to Highgate Cemetery in London, a place where the line between the living and the dead seems almost non-existent. Established in 1839, Highgate Cemetery is a quintessential example of Victorian Gothic architecture, with its towering tombstones, crumbling mausoleums, and ivy-covered statues. The cemetery is the final resting place of many famous individuals, including Karl Marx, but it's the stories of the restless dead that draw the most attention. In the 1960s and 70s, the cemetery became the focal point of a media frenzy surrounding reports of a Highgate vampire, a dark figure seen floating among the graves. This led to a series of midnight exorcisms, further cementing its reputation as a place of dark, supernatural activity. Today, visitors often speak of cold spots, strange lights, and the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Some have even claimed to see ghostly figures wandering through the fog, their faces obscured by the shadows of time. Top 12, Poveglia Island, Italy. At number 12, we venture to Poveglia Island in Italy, a place so haunted that even local fishermen refuse to sail near it. The island's dark history dates back to the Roman era, when it was used as a plague quarantine station, and later, during the bubonic plague in the 18th century, it became a mass grave for thousands of infected people. The ashes of the dead are said to still cover parts of the island, and human bones often wash up on its shores. In the 20th century, the island became a psychiatric hospital, where it's rumored that a sadistic doctor performed cruel experiments on the patients. Eventually, driven mad by the spirits of his victims, the doctor allegedly threw himself from the hospital's bell tower. Today, Poveglia is completely abandoned, and visitors report hearing disembodied screams, seeing shadowy figures, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. It's often referred to as one of the most haunted islands in the world, a place where the dead do not rest. Top 11, Aokigahara Forest, Japan. Number 11 takes us to Aokigahara Forest in Japan, a place of immense natural beauty that hides a much darker side. Also known as the Suicide Forest, Aokigahara has a tragic reputation as the site of hundreds of suicides over the years. The dense forest is eerily quiet, its thick canopy absorbing sound and creating an almost unnatural silence. The forest's association with death and its connection to ancient Japanese mythology, where it was believed to be a place where demons and spirits dwelled, has only added to its haunted reputation. Visitors often report feeling disoriented, hearing strange whispers, and experiencing a pervasive sense of dread. Some have encountered personal items, such as abandoned tents and shoes, left behind by those who came to the forest with no intention of leaving. The spirits of those who died here are said to wander the forest, eternally lost in the sea of trees. Top 10, Banff Springs Hotel, Canada. Coming in at number 10, we visit the Banff Springs Hotel in Canada, a grand, historic hotel often called the Castle in the Rockies. Built in 1888 by the Canadian Pacific Railway, the hotel was designed to attract tourists to the stunning Canadian Rockies. However, behind its luxurious facade lies a history of tragic events and ghostly legends. The most famous spirit is that of a bride who tragically died on her wedding day after falling down a staircase. Her ghost, still in her wedding gown, is often seen dancing alone in the ballroom. There's also the ghost of Sam Macaulay, a former bellman who died in the 1970s but is still seen by guests, always eager to help with their luggage. Some rooms in the hotel are said to be so haunted that they are no longer rented out to guests. The hotel's grand architecture, combined with these eerie tales, makes it a fascinating destination for those intrigued by the paranormal. Top 9, the Amityville Horror House, USA. At number 9, we delve into the infamous Amityville Horror House in Long Island, New York. This otherwise ordinary house at 112 Ocean Avenue gained worldwide notoriety after the gruesome murders committed by Ronald DeFeo Jr., who shot and killed his entire family as they slept in 1974. Just a year later, the Lutz family moved in but fled after only 28 days, claiming the house was haunted by terrifying supernatural forces. The family reported horrifying events, such as green slime oozing from the walls, a demonic pig with glowing red eyes, and the walls themselves seemingly emanating voices. The story was immortalized in the book the Amityville Horror, and subsequent movies, though the true extent of the hauntings remains a topic of debate. Despite its dark past, the house continues to attract visitors and paranormal enthusiasts from around the world, all curious to see where one of the most infamous hauntings in American history took place. Top 8. The Old Changi Hospital, Singapore. Number 8 takes us to the Old Changi Hospital in Singapore, a site steeped in pain, suffering, and tragedy. Built in 1935, this hospital was originally intended for British soldiers and civilians. But during World War II, it was taken over by the Japanese and turned into a prison camp where many were tortured and executed. The hospital has been abandoned since 1997, but its legacy of death and despair remains. Visitors report hearing ghostly footsteps echoing through the empty corridors, seeing shadowy figures that disappear around corners, and even feeling sudden, unexplained chills. One of the most famous hauntings is that of a Japanese soldier who is said to appear in full uniform, patrolling the wards as if still on duty. The eerie atmosphere, combined with the hospital's dark history, makes it one of the most haunted locations in Southeast Asia. Top 7. Monte Cristo Homestead, Australia. At number 7, we visit Monte Cristo Homestead in Australia, a grand and imposing estate that is widely considered the most haunted house in the country. Built in 1884 by Christopher William Crawley, this Victorian manor was once the epitome of elegance and wealth. However, behind its stately exterior lies a history filled with tragedy, mystery, and death. Over the years, several dark events have taken place at Monte Cristo, leaving behind a legacy of restless spirits. Among the most famous is the ghost of Mrs. Crawley, who became a recluse after her husband's death, leaving the house only twice in 23 years. She is often seen wandering the halls, dressed in black, her presence felt in the sudden chills that fill the rooms she once inhabited. But Mrs. Crawley is not alone. The homestead is also haunted by the spirit of a young stable boy who tragically burned to death in the stables. His anguished cries are said to echo through the night, a reminder of the horrific accident that claimed his life. Another tragic figure is the maid who, according to legend, fell to her death from the balcony under mysterious circumstances. Her ghost is often seen on the stairs, reliving her final moments. Visitors and paranormal investigators have reported a wide array of eerie phenomena at Monte Cristo, including unexplained lights, sudden drops in temperature, and the sensation of being watched. Some even claim to have encountered the ghost of a small child, believed to be a boy who died from a fall down the stairs. The homestead's rich history, combined with these spine-chilling tales of the supernatural, makes it a compelling destination for anyone intrigued by the paranormal. Monte Cristo Homestead stands as a testament to a past that refuses to be forgotten, its haunted halls echoing with the stories of those who once lived and died within its walls. Top 6. Château de Brissac, France. Number 6 brings us to Château de Brissac in France, a majestic castle known as the Giant of the Loire Valley due to its towering 7 stories. However, beneath its opulent exterior lies a tale of betrayal and murder. In the 15th century, Charlotte de Brézé, the illegitimate daughter of King Charles VII, was murdered within the castle's walls by her husband after he discovered her affair. Since then, her spirit, known as the Green Lady, has been said to haunt the chateau. She is often seen wandering the corridors, her appearance marked by the green dress she was wearing at the time of her death. Some visitors have also reported hearing her mournful wails echoing through the halls, particularly in the early hours of the morning. The chateau's rich history, combined with the legend of the Green Lady, makes it a compelling and haunting destination for those interested in the paranormal. Top 5. Lemp Mansion, USA. At number 5, we explore the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis, USA, a historic mansion with a tragic and mysterious history that has made it one of the most haunted houses in America. Built in the 1860s, the mansion was home to the wealthy Lemp family, owners of the successful Lemp Brewery. However, the family was plagued by a series of suicides and untimely deaths, beginning with the death of Frederick Lemp, the favorite son, in 1901. This was followed by the suicide of his father, William Lemp Sr., in 1904, and 3 more family members in the years that followed. The mansion is said to be haunted by the spirits of these unfortunate souls, with guests and staff reporting eerie phenomena such as doors slamming shut on their own, the sound of footsteps echoing in empty halls, and sightings of ghostly figures in period clothing. Some have even encountered the ghost of a young boy, believed to be the illegitimate child of one of the Lemps, who was kept hidden in the attic. The mansion's dark past, combined with its Victorian charm, makes it a fascinating destination for those drawn to the paranormal. Top 4. The Myrtles Plantation, USA. Number 4 takes us to the Myrtles Plantation in Louisiana, USA, a historic estate often cited as one of the most haunted locations in America. Built in 1796, the plantation is steeped in Southern history and tragic tales, with numerous ghost stories associated with it. The most famous of these is the story of Chloe, a former slave who was allegedly caught eavesdropping and had her ear cut off as punishment. In revenge, Chloe is said to have poisoned the family, but she was later caught and hanged by the other slaves. Her ghost, recognizable by the green turban she wears to hide her disfigurement, is said to roam the plantation, particularly near the veranda and in the children's rooms. Other spirits reported at the Myrtles include a young girl who died in the house, and the ghosts of those who were killed during the Civil War. Visitors have experienced doors opening and closing on their own, the sound of children's laughter, and the sight of ghostly figures in old-fashioned clothing. The plantation's antebellum charm, combined with its tragic history, contributes to its reputation as one of the most haunted places in the United States. Image suggestion: an atmospheric image of the plantation house at twilight, with moss-draped oak trees framing the scene. The ghostly figure of Chloe in her green turban could be seen near the veranda or peering through one of the windows, with other spectral figures in the background. Top 3. The Catacombs of Paris, France. At number 3, we descend into the depths of the Catacombs of Paris, a vast underground ossuary that holds the remains of over 6 million people. Created in the late 18th century to address the city's overflowing cemeteries, the catacombs are a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers filled with neatly arranged bones and skulls. The atmosphere is oppressive and chilling, with the weight of centuries of death pressing down on every visitor. The catacombs are said to be haunted by the spirits of those whose remains are stored there, particularly those who were moved from their original resting places. Urban explorers and tourists have reported strange occurrences, such as voices echoing through the tunnels, figures seen out of the corner of their eyes that disappear when approached, and a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. The disorienting nature of the catacombs, combined with their macabre history, makes this one of the most haunting places in the world. Top 2. The Tower of London, UK. Number 2 takes us to the Tower of London, an iconic fortress with a long and bloody history. Built in the 11th century by William the Conqueror, the tower has served as a royal palace, a prison, and an execution site, witnessing some of the most famous and gruesome events in British history. It is said to be haunted by the ghosts of many who met their end here, including Anne Boleyn, the second wife of Henry VIII, who was beheaded in 1536. Her ghost is reportedly seen wandering the grounds, sometimes carrying her severed head under her arm. Another famous specter is that of the princes in the tower, 2 young boys who disappeared in the 15th century and are believed to have been murdered by their uncle, Richard III. Their ghostly figures have been seen holding hands and walking the halls. The White Tower is also said to be haunted by the spirit of a bear that once escaped from the royal menagerie and terrorized the guards. The tower's grim past, combined with its role as a symbol of British history, makes it one of the most haunted locations in the UK. Top 1. The Stanley Hotel, USA. And finally, at number 1, we revisit the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, a place that has become synonymous with the paranormal thanks to its connection to Stephen King's The Shining. Built in 1909 by F.O. Stanley, the hotel was intended as a luxurious mountain retreat, but it quickly gained a reputation for being haunted. The most famous ghost is that of Flora Stanley, the original owner, who is often heard playing the piano in the hotel's ballroom long after it has closed for the night. Guests and staff have also reported seeing the apparition of F.O. Stanley himself, often in the lobby or overseeing the staff. Room 217, where Stephen King stayed and which inspired The Shining, is particularly notorious, with reports of objects moving on their own, unexplained noises, and even ghostly figures appearing at the foot of the bed. The hotel's chilling ambiance, stunning location, and its connection to one of horror literature's most famous works make it a must-visit for those intrigued by the paranormal.
And there you have it, our top 15 most haunted places in the world. Each of these locations holds a unique and chilling story, from tragic past to restless spirits. Have you ever visited any of these haunted sites? Or do you have a ghost story of your own? Share your experiences in the comments below. If you enjoyed this spine-tingling journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on more supernatural stories. Until next time, keep your lights on and your curiosity alive. Remember, the world is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Stay brave and see you in the next video.